Play the clip. They always find a way to top us. Death, taxes, and the Astros getting swept by the A's in the middle of the season. Welcome back to Astros Network, your number one home for quick Astros recaps. I am Hunter. I am your host. If you missed a quick Astros series, come here for a quick recap of the series. I will have a video out only a day or two after it happens. Now, I don't even know how I want to approach this recap because if you watched it, it's rough. I don't even think I want to go into this one game by game. I think let's just do one big summary of it all, and then we'll kind of just take it in from there. So, as you saw from the clip I just played, death, taxes, and the A's whooping the Astros' butts in the middle of the season. And we're not in the middle of the season. We're 10 games in now. The Astros lost the series 2-1. The only game they won the second game 11-0. They lost the first game 11-4, and then lost the third game 12-10. Now, you'd think the 12-10 loss would be, we battled for 10 runs and you just, whatever. Well, the problem is you can't score 10 runs and lose the damn game. The Astros' bats were outstanding this series, as they have been all season, except for the first game when the Astros were basically getting blanked 11-4, felt like 1,000,000 throughout the whole course of the game. I had to turn it off. I couldn't finish it. If you want a quick recap on game one, Javier started, went 3 2/3, allowed 6 hits, 6 earned runs, walked 5, struck out 2. So Javier's lost. Don't know what's going on with him. He needs to fix it, especially because of a point that we'll get to later in the video. I'm going to bury the lead here. We'll get to that one later in the video. Javier just came in, and you can't win games if your pitcher only goes 3 2/3. Your pitcher at least has to go 5 or 6 innings. Starting pitcher has to go 5 or 6 innings for y'all to have any chance at winning the game. A's bats were on fire. They started Jeffrey Springs. He struck out the Astros 7 times, only allowed 1 earned run, and the A's just absolutely destroyed us. Anyways, game 2, Astros looked much better. 11-0 score. This was rejuvenating. Okay, it was like, all right, well, the first game, whatever, it doesn't matter. We got the one butt whooping out of the way. Now let's come back on the second game and let's go win a ball game. And that's what they did. Amai made his second start of the season pretty good. 5 2/3 innings, almost got the full 6. Just was pulled on a pitch count, I believe it was. Allowed 0 earned runs, struck out 9, and only allowed 3 walks. So Amai is finding his groove a little bit. Granted, the A's bats aren't very good, except for when it comes to us, or the Astros at least. But Amai was pretty solid. Kaiwei Tang came in the game 2 2 more innings, struck out 3. Steven Okert came in for the save or to close it out. In the 9th, struck out 1. So it was a pretty good day for the Astros. Altuve still continues to battle the zone, not swing at close pitches, continues to get walked. Christian Walker has found his groove, homer for the first time this series. Christian Vasquez caught. Outstanding performance from Christian Vasquez in the second game. 3 for 6 in the 9-hole spot. And I had a bunch of things saved up in my head that I wanted to talk about this series or for this video series, but there was just so many things that went on in the second game where I can't even remember, because Jeff Blum and Todd Cowers were talking so many crazy statistics in the second game. Just so many records being broken. Altuve's walk record, his personal walk record, the amount of times he's been walked in a certain amount of games, was destroyed. The Astros left on base runners left on base. It doesn't show it on here, but the number for it was broken. It didn't even compared to how many runners we left on base in the second inning or in the second game, but you still played 11 runs, and you're like, all right, well, whatever. 18 hits compared to the A's 5. It was just a collected storm for the offense for the Astros. Loperfido double, Yiner double, Loperfido double, Walker double. So a big day for Loperfido and Christian Walker and Christian Vasquez as well. Cam Smith homered in the 8th to make it 11-0 when we were up 10-0. So kind of getting that extra insurance as if we needed that 11th run. Still felt kind of good. Cam Smith got his second home run of the season. I love the kid. Took some great at-bats this weekend. Took great pitches, got solid knocks, and he was a big part in the unfortunate loss in Game 3. But yeah, he was a part of the raging storm for the Astros in the second game. Now, happy late Easter. You know, everybody woke up Sunday morning thinking, oh, it's Easter Sunday. What do you do on Easter? You hang out with your family, and if you're from Houston, you watch the Astros. Astros play most Easters. They play most kind of Sunday holidays, you know, most Father's Days or Mother's Days. You're seeing a lot of Astros games on these Sundays. So whenever you are with your family, you're all hanging out, whatever, right? You watch the Astros. Now, a few hours before the first pitch, tragedy struck. Well, tragedy struck a few days ago. The Astros announced a few hours before first pitch that Hunter Brown would be put on the 15-day IL with a right shoulder strain. Now, I don't know if you know anything about how pitching works, but it all starts from your shoulder, you know, right there. So for the Astros ace to mess up his shoulder, let's just say it ruined my day. Not ruined the day, but it was a rather rough start, seeing the one guy that you could not lose get hurt. It's April 6th. This was announced on April 5th. It was retroactive to April 2nd. So 15 days from the 2nd is April 17th. So that's when he's eligible to be reinstated off the IL. It would surprise me if we see him again before May. Like, this is not something that you come back from, you know, in the best case scenario, especially if you're the Astros, who are made of glass, it seems like. Caught another bad break. The first big injury of the season comes after the second start by Hunter Brown. And, from there, you knew it was going to be a wild day for Astros baseball. And that it was. The Astros lost 10-12 in the third game. It was a good game. I was genuinely having fun watching this game on Easter Sunday. There were plenty of lead changes. The Astros were down as much as 3 or 4 runs at one point. I believe it was in the 4th inning. After the Astros went up, where they tied it in the 7th, the A's then took another big lead in the 7th, and a lot of that stemmed from Nick Allen. Nick Allen was just having a terrible day in the field. It was really hard to watch Blue Ball go in there in the 7th inning. And Blue Ball pitched multiple innings, and we'll probably see Blue Ball get a little stretched out. We'll probably see him maybe be converted into a starter to replace Hunter Brown. Not replace, but kind of fill in that 6th spot. Maybe it'll be Blue Ball. Maybe it'll be Arrighetti. Maybe it'll be another one of these guys coming up from Sugarland. The Astros have plenty of people coming up. Anyways, Nick Allen kind of had a little blunder in the 7th inning, and that allowed a few runs. And then the Astros came up in the 8th and played it 4 more. And the bats were down but never out this whole series. Or this whole game, at least. You know, game 1s and 2s, it was, you know, very heavily on either side. But for game 3 in this series, it was a perfect fight for the Astros. Down and out, down but never out, I should say. Christian Walker, huge game on the Sunday's game. Had a big home run in the 7th to tie it, to put the Astros back in contention of fighting for the game in the 7th. And then, you know, Jake Myers, Altuve, Cam Smith all came together to rally in for the 4-run 8th inning that they had. And it was just, that was the Astros baseball, or the Astros offense, that we need to see more of this offseason or this season. You can't come in here losing your best pitchers and not have a good offense. And the Astros know that. And they have proved it, except for the first game in this series, that they are willing to come in here, or they're capable of coming in here and fighting and scoring 10-plus runs a game. And it's not going to happen every game of the series or of the season, but when it does happen, you have to appreciate it. They have the highest OPS, or OBP, I believe it is, in baseball. Christian Walker leads the league in doubles, Altuve in walks, Jordan in, you know, the rest of the categories. This team is on fire offensively, and you have to appreciate it while it lasts. Now, on the flip side, the pitching. The pitching. Yeah, that's about what it's going to come down to. Hunter Brown's out. Imai is finding his groove. Christian Javier lost cause. And Lance McCullers looked back like Lance McCullers. Not the one we saw in the first start of the series or in the season, but 4 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks. So this is probably the Lance McCullers we'll see throughout the rest of the season. Had trouble finding the strike zone. Again, you can't win games when your starter's only going 4 innings. Lance is now sitting at a 3.27 ERA. Not the worst performance by Lance, but again, you can't go 4 innings and expect to win the game. But I feel like the bigger name we need to mention for the Astros this series and really this whole season, Bryan Abreu, man. What's going on? Abreu has not had the season to remember. And again, we've mentioned it in previous videos. This is a contract year for Bryan Abreu. He needs to come in and prove that he can be a closer in these big roles and go get the bag elsewhere, because the Astros are not going to want to pay him like he's going to want to get paid. He's going to want to go get, Devin Williams money, like Edwin Diaz money. He's going to want to go get closer money. He's not going to get Josh Hader money because Josh Hader is in a league of his own when it comes to his money. But Abreu doesn't want to be a setup man. Is he a top 10 reliever in baseball? 110%. He's just having a really, really bad start to the season. He came in the 9th in the 3rd game to get the final out and get the Astros into extra innings. Looked good. And then with the game tied at 9 apiece, he allowed a walk and then a walk-off home run. And let's just say this was the most deflating way to end the game on Easter Sunday. Brent Rooker came in, and the first fastball Abreu threw him left the field in left field. That ball probably hasn't landed yet. I'm kind of, stumped for words to say, because they kind of just speak for themselves, the performance of this pitching staff. And we knew that coming into the season, even with the reinforced arms that we brought in. The Astros brought in so many names this offseason. Mike Burrows, Imai, Ryan Weiss. They got Nate Pearson in the minor leagues right now, or he might be on the IR. And so many more guys. Christian Roa was not on the team last year. And then more utilization out of guys like Oker, Blue Ball, King. Sousa is on the IR, but he would have been a big part of this rotation as well. So there was so much reinforcement brought into the Astros this offseason, and yet there is nothing to show for it. Granted, we are 7 or 10 games in to the offseason or to the season right now. Astros sit 6-4. It's currently 7:40 on April 6th, which means the first game against the Rockies has just started. So I'll be editing this video while watching the beginning of that game. And the Astros have a 3-game series against the Rockies. So you play the first game right now, the next 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, off day Thursday, and then a huge weekend series, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I believe, against Seattle. 4-game series. You have to go sweep the Rockies. There's nothing short of, meeting the goal besides sweeping. You can't lose a single game in Coors Field. Utilize your hot bats. Go in there. Just don't allow more runs than you're scoring yourself, which, as hot as the Astros bats are right now, it would be really ironic for them to lose their groove in the most hitter-friendly ballpark. Now, because I said that, knock on wood, I don't want to be the cause for anything. But the series against Seattle this weekend is going to be the biggest attest to this team very early on in the season. And again, don't want to overreact. Still 6-4, still sits at first place in the AL West, but I don't want to lose that first place ranking. We just lost a series to the 5th place team in the AL West. The A's are now 3-6 after taking 2 of their 3 wins from the Astros. So I'll leave you with that. Hopefully the pitching staff can turn around. Rest in peace to Hunter Brown. Would love to see Diesel back on the bump before May. I wouldn't count on it happening. But we will see where it goes from there. So I will have another video for you, hopefully on Thursday, after the Astros play the Rockies in a 3-game series, and then we will be back on Friday for the series against Seattle. So thank you for listening. I will talk to you here in a few days.